As a Cavs fan, there's quite literally nothing that could surprise me anymore with this season. I'm quite numb to everything that's going on in Cleveland. And yesterday, the Christmas Day game was a prime example of how turbulent this season has been. The Cavs were in action on Christmas for the first time in 7 years, and the first time without LeBron James in over 35 years. So you thought the bright lights of New York, Madison Square Garden, Evan Mobley returned to action, the Cavs finally getting healthy, Donovan Mitchell back in his home state. You probably thought that would up the stakes for the Cavs to put on a show, but it turned out to be quite the opposite. And this game actually started quite well for the Cavs. They were forcing the Knicks into some tough shots. The Cavs were putting pressure on the paint, able to get looks that they wanted, some smart looks, some very, very efficient looks as well. Very active on defense. DeAndre Hunter was finally finding his shot, who's been struggling for the last couple games. Sam Merrill returned his third game, his second start, and you could just see the impact of a player like Sam Merrill has. I think he's a quite underappreciated and underrated player. Many casual fans or fans who don't really tune into the Cavs too often will just say he's just a shooter, but he does so much more for the Cavs offense. His gravity allows multiple defenders to close out on him, which opens up looks for other players. He's a great playmaker. He serves as a good roller and a secondary screener. When he does get into the paint, he's almost money. He's quite efficient from everywhere on the court. So to have Sam Merrill back is going to be great for the Cavs moving forward. But the Cavs did open up to a 21-11 run, a typical performance you've seen from the Cavs over the last couple of years. Very, very fluid, very, very active on defense. Evan Mobley returned to the lineup. They said he was going to miss 2 to 4 weeks. He healed insanely quick. He was great in that first half, putting pressure on the defense, putting pressure on the paint more specifically. Evan Mobley is one of those players who forgets how tall he is or forgets how lengthy he is, and when he does realize he is 7 foot, he is quite efficient in the paint, and there are very few defenders that can actually stop him on a regular basis. But the Cavs jumped out to a great lead in that first quarter. By the end of the first quarter, it was 38-26 to start the second quarter. But here's an issue that we've seen with the Cavs so far this season. When Donovan Mitchell sits, when Donovan Mitchell isn't getting as many looks as he should, when other players have to get involved, and the Cavs kind of take their foot off the gas. We saw that prime example last night. The Knicks went on an 18-0 run without Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was a minus 17 in that first half because the Knicks went on that run with their best player off the floor. And it's just costly mistakes that hurt the Cavs in that second half too. A little slow rotating on defense. You miss a shot, it leads to a fast break opportunity. They can't get back fast enough and all this, but it's some issues that continue to persist with the Cavs, and that was a terrible second quarter from them. The Knicks were able to take a 60-58 lead into the break, but I would say the first half wasn't entirely terrible. I mean, they were up big. It was still a close game going into halftime, and you knew this was going to be a close game. When the Cavs jumped out to that 14-point lead in the first half, I didn't think it was going to stay. I also didn't think the Knicks were going to come back as fast as they did, but I don't know what Kenny Atkinson told the Cavs to start the second half, but they did come out swinging. They owned that third quarter. Darius Garland looking like the all-star point guard he is. He was fantastic, even throwing lobs to Donovan Mitchell. Their paint defense was great. Evan Mobley on a minutes restriction, still one of the best defenders in the league, and you could tell how much the Cavs missed his length and his ability to, control both sides of the paint. Literally everyone was getting involved for the Cavs. Jared Allen, Jalen Tyson, Sam Merrill, DeAndre Hunter, Darius Garland, name any player, every player was getting involved in that third quarter. And there's nothing I could really say that the Cavs did wrong in that third quarter. They controlled it, pushed the tempo. They didn't let the Knicks stop them. They pressure on the perimeter, put pressure on the paint, which allowed to open up looks for shooters like Merrill and Hunter and Mitchell. But the fourth quarter is where these issues have haunted the Cavs, specifically in this arena, have haunted the Cavs for years now. So there's 10-16 left in the fourth quarter. The Cavs up 103-86. Yes, 103-86, and the Cavs do end up losing this game. It's hard to pinpoint exactly where this game went wrong for the Cavs, but I think it's mainly what's happened so far this season is fundamentals and just staying locked in. The Knicks did get a lot of open shots. Tyler Kolek finished with 16. He's averaging 5 points a game. Just a lot of missed rotations on defense allowed a lot of shooters to get good looks. They could not contain Jalen Brunson. They were getting a little bit too soft inside the paint. The Knicks were pretty much a different team. It was like they switched bodies for that fourth quarter. The Cavs started to miss shots that they would usually make. The Knicks were turning into a defensive hound, forcing a lot of turnovers, pushing the tempo, and the Cavs were just too slow to get back on most fast break opportunities. I won't say too much about the officiating, particularly in that first half. There were a lot of soft calls for the Knicks, but I do think there is a point where you do have to blame the Cavs and their inability to close out games. If you're a Cavs fan, you would know how important rebounding had to be for this team, and they still have not figured it out. Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, Dean Wade, all these guys, DeAndre Hunter, literally everyone needs to be crashing the glass, and that's just not what you see from this team. And it's not what you've seen for going on to the 4th year now. We saw what happened in that 2023 playoffs, and they still can't rebound. No one boxes out. No one crashes the glass. It's simple fundamentals. They teach you this at the earliest level of basketball, to close out, to box out, but the Cavs don't seem to do it. I don't know if it's like a mental thing or if they physically can't box out or whatever, but it's so frustrating to watch the same issues unfold every single game, whether it's Mitchell Robinson, Domantas Sabonis, Donovan Clingan, all these guys out-rebounding the Cavs big men when they have one of, if not the biggest front court in the entire NBA. They run 2 centers. Evan Mobley's 7-footer. Jarrett Allen pushing 7 foot as well. They just can't seem to rebound. I don't know what it is with this team. It's so frustrating to watch. I've been seeing this for years now, and it's just like, box out, just grab a board, put your body on the line, but no one really wants to do it. The amount of offensive chances, second chance points that the Cavs have given up over the course of these seasons, it's unfathomable. And the other thing is just that the Cavs let these players get into a heater too much. You need to be up on your guys. The Knicks were on fire, but it's also the Cavs defense. It's just, you got to put a hand in the face. Like, it's not enough to just start running at guys and trying to run them off the line. You need to actually be jumping at these guys and, making it tough. But the Knicks were in their shooting form and just got whichever shots they wanted. And it's just simple fundamentals that hurt the Cavs. And it's terrible to watch as a fan. And I don't know how you can continue to have these same issues for so long and never address it or never improve, really, because the Cavs have not improved as a rebounding team. I've been watching this team for years now, and they haven't improved as a rebounding team. It's like beating a dead horse. It's like I sound like a broken record saying the same thing, to box out, to put a fight up on the glass, but they just can't seem to do it. I don't know what the turning point was, but I think their big moment in this game was this play here. The Cavs get a steal. Darius Garland off to Donovan Mitchell. I don't know if Mitchell knew Kolek was behind him, if he thought he was going to make that dunk. This was originally called a foul. It got overturned to a block on Kolek, and I think this was the tide shifter for the Knicks. And then the same issues again, just unable to get any defensive stops, whatever you want to call it. Jalen Brunson just walks into a 3 here. I think that's just an incredible shot, but I do think Donovan Mitchell needs to be playing a little higher on him, or maybe start to double him or something. And then right here again, offensive rebounding. Look how far Cat is from, he somehow still gets the offensive rebound. There's really no excuse for Evan Mobley to let Karl-Anthony Towns get that far. This is crazy. They try to trap and they just leave OG Anunoby alone at the basket. This is a terrible trap. 12 seconds to go. You could have fouled, but no. I was blaming injuries to begin the season, and I was like, okay, once we get healthy and once bodies come back, but the Knicks were missing guys too. The Cavs were missing guys. This goes far than just blaming on injuries. Like, if Max Strus was playing, we would have won. That's simply not true, because this goes further than just the bodies you have on the floor. It's the mentality of the team to want to be a great rebounding team, want to keep guys off the offensive glass. Mitchell Robinson has literally given me nightmares, PTSD for all these years now, and it's really frustrating to watch. So I'm a firm believer that the Cavs have a championship level team. There's a championship level roster for sure. Donovan Mitchell, I could never say anything bad about him. He's done everything he could for this team. The main thing for this team is the talent is off the charts. There's no doubt about it. And there needs to be a flip of mentality where the Cavs need to say, we're going to be hungry. We need to be dogs. We need to be pushing the perimeter. We need to be pushing the paint. We need to be putting pressure on these teams. But until that happens, the Cavs are not winning a championship, and they're not going to go very far, because we saw last year, we saw the year before, we saw 2023, that they just get outworked and out-hustled. As a Cavs fan, I'm sort of numb to it, like I said to begin this video. Hopefully they can figure it out, but a few difficult games to start the new year. That's my thoughts on it. That's the recap of the Cavs implosion in New York on Christmas Day. As always, thanks for watching, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all the social medias, wherever you get your hoops content. We're there. This is Rois from BoxInOne signing out. I'll see you in the next one.